Rodeo star Kelsie Domer is facing a heartbreak no parent should ever have to endure as she mourns the tragic loss of her 3-year-old daughter, Oaklynn Rae Domer, whose sudden passing has shaken not only her family but the entire rodeo community across the country. On February 19, 2026, what began as a normal day surrounded by horses and the Western lifestyle they loved so deeply turned into an unimaginable nightmare that changed everything in an instant. One ordinary moment became a dividing line in their lives, a before and an after that can never be undone. Oaklynn Rae Domer, born on August 11, 2022 in Texas, was just 3 years old. 3 short, beautiful years filled with laughter that echoed through barns, tiny boots kicking up dust in practice pens, ponytails bouncing as she ran toward her parents, and bright pink outfits that matched her bigger-than-life personality. She loved what she adorably called yodeos, mispronouncing rodeos in a way that melted hearts every single time she said it. That one word alone has now become a memory that friends and family say they will never forget. She was the kind of child who lit up every room she entered. Family friends say she truly never met a stranger, whether it was a seasoned rodeo veteran, a young competitor, or someone walking past her in the stands. Oaklynn would flash a fearless smile and start talking as if she had known them forever. She had a natural confidence that seemed almost unbelievable for someone so small. Her spirit was joyful, curious, and unfiltered in the way only a toddler's spirit can be. From the very beginning, Oakland was immersed in the world her mother had conquered, the high-stakes, adrenaline-filled, fiercely competitive world of professional rodeo. For those unfamiliar, rodeo isn't just a sport, it's a lifestyle. It's early mornings in the barn, it's long drives across state lines, it's weekends spent under bright arena lights. It's dirt, sweat, discipline, and tradition passed down through generations. Oakland grew up in that rhythm. It was normal for her. The sounds of hooves on dirt, announcers calling out times, and crowds cheering were part of her childhood soundtrack. Kelsie Domer is not just any competitor. She is a 10-time Women's Professional Rodeo Association world champion in breakaway roping, one of the most demanding timed events in the sport. Breakaway roping requires a rider to rope a calf as quickly as possible, with precision measured in fractions of a second. The rope is tied to the saddle horn with a string, and when the calf is caught, the rope breaks away, signaling the time. It's a sport built on speed, coordination, and absolute focus. Kelsie built her reputation on consistency and excellence. She is known for being calm under pressure, for stepping into the arena with laser focus, and for delivering when it matters most. But beyond the championship titles and the glittering buckles, she is a mother first, and Oakland was her world. Fans watched their bond unfold through photos and videos over the years. There were images of Kelsie holding Oakland on her hip after winning a round, videos of Oakland clapping excitedly from the stands, sweet moments in the barn where Kelsie balanced training sessions with motherhood, often pausing to scoop up her daughter for a hug. For many fans, Oakland wasn't just a background presence, she was part of Kelsie's journey. She represented the heart behind the competitor. The tragic accident reportedly occurred while Kelsie was handling one of the family's horses. Horses are woven into the fabric of rodeo families' lives. They are partners in competition and trusted companions, but they are also massive, powerful animals that can weigh over 1,000 pounds. Even the most experienced horse handlers understand that unpredictability is part of the equation. In a sudden and devastating turn of events, the horse is said to have experienced an unexpected medical episode and collapsed. Kelsie was holding Oakland at the time. In those terrifying seconds, there was no warning, no opportunity to move out of harm's way. Both were struck in the chaos. Kelsie survived. Oakland did not. In one split second, everything changed. Those close to the family describe it as a freak accident, the kind of rare and tragic event that no one could have foreseen. There was no negligence, no dramatic chain of preventable mistakes, just an unpredictable moment that altered lives forever. When the news broke, the rodeo world fell silent.
It is difficult to process how a life so vibrant could be gone so quickly. Oaklynn was more than just a child who tagged along to events. She was present in every sense of the word. She traveled across state lines with her parents. She spent time near practice pens watching her mom train. She toddled around arenas with wide-eyed wonder. She cheered with pure excitement when her mom competed, not fully understanding the stakes, but fully understanding that she was proud. Photos shared over the years show her perched on horseback with assistants, grinning ear to ear, already embodying the spirit of a little cowgirl. She looked completely at home in that world. Dusty jeans, tiny boots, a bow in her hair. She was raised in the Western tradition, surrounded by people who valued hard work, faith, and family.
Friends say she loved frogs, horses, puppies, and anything pink. She loved being outside. She loved clinging to her dad's hand. She loved climbing into her mom's lap after a long day. She adored the noise and excitement of arenas. And that small, sweet mispronunciation, Rodeo, has now become one of the most tender memories shared by those who knew her. When news of her passing spread, the outpouring of grief was immediate and overwhelming. Social media filled with tributes. Fellow Breakaway ropers posted photos and heartfelt captions. Rodeo organizations shared messages of support. Fans who had never met the family still felt deeply connected through the glimpses they had seen online. Breakaway ropers began wearing pink during competitions in her honor. Pink ribbons were tied to saddles. Pink shirts appeared in arenas across the country. The phrase, "Be the light," began circulating, a tribute to the way so many described Oakland's spirit. Announcers took moments before events to acknowledge her memory. Crowds stood for moments of silence, hats removed, heads bowed. The rodeo community is deeply interconnected. Families spend countless hours together, traveling, competing, and supporting one another. Rivalries in the arena dissolve when real life intrudes, and when tragedy strikes one of their own, they rally without hesitation. Competitors who might normally be focused solely on their runs found themselves wiping away tears before stepping into the box. Some admitted publicly that it was hard to concentrate. Parents within the community held their own children a little tighter that week. Many shared that they went home from events and hugged their kids longer than usual. Kelsie and her husband Rae Domer have remained mostly private as they navigate the most painful chapter of their lives. Those close to them say they are leaning heavily on faith and the strength of their support system. Losing a child is often described as a grief beyond description. It is not simply sadness, it is the shattering of expectations, the collapse of dreams carefully imagined from the day a child is born. Parents picture birthdays, first days of school, dance recitals, sporting events, graduations. They imagine guiding their children into adulthood. When that future disappears, the emptiness left behind is immeasurable. Kelsie has always been admired for her mental toughness. In breakaway roping, timing is everything. A delay of a fraction of a second can mean the difference between winning and walking away empty-handed. She built her career on discipline and composure, but grief does not operate by the same rules as competition. It is unpredictable. It arrives in waves. It does not respect strength or success. For fans who have followed her career, the images now feel bittersweet. Championship runs followed by Oaklynn running into her mother's arms, victory photos with Oaklynn proudly perched on her hip, quiet barn videos showing a mother and daughter sharing a world built around horses and hard work. Those moments now carry an added weight. They are precious memories frozen in time. Funeral services brought together family, friends, and members of the rodeo world who traveled from near and far to pay their respects. Stories were shared about Oaklynn's fearless personality, about how she would march up to much older kids and join in without hesitation, about the way she giggled when horses snorted or when dirt kicked up around her boots. There were tears, of course, but also smiles as people remembered her spark. There has also been renewed awareness about the inherent risks of life around livestock.
Those in the industry understand that even experienced handlers cannot predict every situation. Horses are living animals with their own physical vulnerabilities. The accident serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly circumstances can change, even in familiar environments. Still, what stands out most is the unity that followed. The rodeo world showed up, not just in words, but in presence, in shared grief, in collective remembrance. Many are wondering what comes next for Kelsie Domer. Whether she will return to competition soon or take an extended step back remains uncertain. Grief does not follow a calendar. Healing cannot be rushed. Every parent who has faced unimaginable loss processes it differently. If and when she does step back into the arena, it will carry a different meaning. Every swing of the rope will hold memory. Every cheer from the crowd will echo with absence. But those who know her believe her strength, though deeply tested, remains. The pink ribbons tied to saddles across the country are more than symbols. They represent solidarity. They represent love. They represent a little girl whose life, though brief, left a mark far beyond what 3 years would suggest. 3 years is not long in the span of a lifetime, but impact is not measured by length, it is measured by love. And by that measure, Oaklynn Rae Domer's life mattered profoundly. Her story is a reminder of life's fragility, of how quickly joy can turn to heartbreak, of how community can surround a family in their darkest hour, and of how a mother's love does not end. It simply transforms into memory, into legacy, into something carried forward. For Kelsie and Ryan, the road ahead will be filled with hard days and quiet moments. There will be anniversaries that sting, birthdays that feel different, barns that feel a little too quiet. But there will also be stories, laughter remembered, and the enduring echo of a little voice saying, "Rodeo." The rodeo world will continue, arenas will fill, champions will be crowned, but somewhere in every pink ribbon, every whispered prayer, and every moment of silence, there will be remembrance of a tiny cowgirl who left far too soon. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.